So I have a center of -3, 1, and a radius of 5. If I try to carefully plot -3, 1, my radius is 5, so I'm going to go over 5, I'm going to go up 5, I'm going to go left 5, I'm going to go down 5. And I didn't do a perfect job, but I can see here that 3, 2 is definitely going to be outside of the circle just by counting 5 to the right. The largest my x value is going to be is 2, so having an x value of 3 is a problem. I have to complete the square. Let's look at the b values. X squared plus 20x plus half of that squared, that's 100, which I'll add over here as well. Plus y squared plus 16y plus half of that squared, which is plus 64. I'll add that to both sides. This becomes x plus 10 squared. This becomes y plus 8 squared. And on the right, I have 144. So r squared is equal to 144. But they're not asking for the radius. They're asking for the coordinates of the center, which is -10, -8. You take the opposite of each of these. So we have a radius of 10, so the right side of the equation should be r squared is equal to 100. This one can be ruled out. And since it passes through the origin, you could try to plot it, kind of like this, and that's just a ballpark of how B, C, and D might look. You could also set it up like a right triangle, where 10 is your hypotenuse, and you're trying to figure out what are some possible legs that will make the radius exactly 10, which means it'll pass through the origin precisely. If you plug in D, you get that answer, because a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The other ones you don't. So if the center is HK and the radius is 10, it's important to look at the distance between 4 and 20. That's a distance of 16, so 8 of it here and 8 of it here. That suggests that 8 squared plus whatever k squared is equal to 10 squared. So 64 plus k squared is equal to 100. K squared is equal to 36. K is going to be equal to 6. Point C is the center of the circle above. What fraction of the area of the circle is the area of the shaded region? So this can be 100 divided by 360, or 10 over 36, or 5 over 18. I think that's the lowest you can reduce it. So point O is the center, and the radius is 6. So if xz is equal to 2, then the rest of the way to the center is going to be 4. They also tell me that wz is the square root of x. What is the value of x? So let's make this a triangle, where you now can pull it out, blow it up a little bit, and this distance is 4, this distance is root x, and this distance is 6, because that's the radius again. So I know that 4 squared plus blank squared is equal to 6 squared. So blank squared is going to be equal to 36 minus 16, or 20. So if I plug in root x squared is 20. What is the value of x? Well, the square and the square root cancel each other out, and the answer is just 20. Since it says that LM and MN are tangent, that means these are 90-degree angles. So I have 90 plus 60. And what's left is 120, because the interior sum is going to be 360. So if the circumference is 96, what is the length of the arc? Well, I have 120 out of 360 times 96, which gives me 32. They tell us that the radius is 10, so the distance around the entire circle is 2 pi r, and if I plug in a 10, that gives me 20 pi. And that's from here all the way around. But I want a fraction of that, just a to b, and it's going to be somewhere between 5 and 6. I'm looking for an integer somewhere between these two ranges. At least 28.6, at most 34.4, and it has to be an integer. So the answer is going to be anywhere between 29 and 34. Whole numbers only. An arc of a circle measures 2.4 radians. If I want to convert that to degrees, I can multiply by 180 over pi. This gives me 137.5. If I round to the nearest degree, that's going to be 138. Depending on if you use the pi button or 3.14, I think they also accept 137.